It's great warming up for an audience, right? It's like, it's super. Well, Quintel, why don't you, let's just go ahead and play. I see you have up here, you have this, do you want to play, do you want to play both of these or this one? Quintel up here has the chorale from Mahler 2, and he has the first movement of Prokofiev 5, rehearsals 3 to 6. So, why don't you go ahead, let's just play. You see, I've conveniently brought my F tuba here today, so I'm exempt from having to play this morning. Prokofiev, in your studies, in working on this, have you listened to the piece? Are you familiar with the piece? This excerpt it's kind of like a legato study. It's very similar to other pieces that we would play, like out of a Bordoni book or some sort of other etude book. And Prokofiev's music is so important to us as tuba players. We auditioned for it. It's something that they use for auditions to choose players to play in orchestras. And so in my study of it, I kind of see like three components to this excerpt and Prokofiev excerpts. Of course, there's the lyric component to Prokofiev's music. These searing lines, or the that's in Prokofiev Romeo and Juliet. These just like broad, expansive lines. There's also a motoric component to Prokofiev's music. Prokofiev 5, third trumpet part. And then there's always this kind of grotesque part where it's like, music, the gears kind of grinding. It comes out harmonically with dissonances and release, dissonance, consonants. It comes out with different intervals. I think all of those three components are kind of in this a little bit. Obviously, like the lyric part of it is really, really important. The beginning of it, the F. So, for you? What's been your way to like practice a nice mezzo piano start on the low F?
Trying to air attack it first, and then try to add the tongue. Try to make sure there's no difference to the air when I add the tongue.
Yeah. Awesome. I think that's like a really great idea. So why don't you do that for me? Can you do a few breath attacks on that low F? So you're having a little bit of trouble getting the motor going there, right? Can you buzz that low F? It's kind of tough to buzz that low. Actually, you know what? Let's start with the octave above that. Yeah, let's just do a breath attack right now. Now, can you slur down from there? Just go down as low as you can. All right, good. Can you just try a breath attack on the lows? Yeah, and Quentel, one thing I want you, even in the midst of doing like a breath attack like that on buzzing on the instruments, I want you to think about like you're blowing the air out here to me. I feel like you're kind of blowing air to like right there. There you go. Okay, let's see. Are we kind of... Let's put the mouthpiece back on the tuba and just like some nice little F breath attack. Try that breath attack on the F again. There you go. One thing that helps me with that attack is I think about blowing air with my lips. That's one of the things that helps me that helps me a lot, is to like have that sense that I'm blowing air. In fact, I use that as the cornerstone for every note that I play, that I'm blowing air with my lips. It's just if I'm going to play like in Mahler 5, I'm still thinking about I'm just blowing air with my lips. That's like the foundation of what I'm trying to do. Is do that. So with that kind of sense, let's try the opening again. You know, starting on the low F. I want you to have that sense that you're blowing air through that, and we're this opening B flat major. So we have the most common, you know, the common connection for B flat major, F to B flat. Okay, on that the very beginning. And then we migrate a little bit more away from B flat. Then we kind of have like a, you know, we get up here with a C sharp, D, C sharp. We kind of migrate a little far away. Then we're back to B flat, E natural, back, and then F. Once again, firmly establishing B flat. F, D, B flat. So that's I think we can find a little bit of our expressive nature as we go through. You know, through that C sharp, which is a little bit different in B flat, and then right back down to B flat. So let's just try one more time. Nice and smooth air, nice smooth air, blowing air with your lips. Keep going. This is more rhythmic. Big air. Or good. Thank you. Now for me, I'm a little bit, watching you play, I'm a little nervous about how do you feel comfortable sitting and playing like this? I mean, maybe you do because this is how you're doing it, but I'm a little I'm a little bit nervous about how your comfort in holding the instrument. Yeah. It seems like it's a little bit far out from you. And maybe this mouthpiece. Oh, it's a little bit. Yeah. I'm just. You know. It just seems like it's a little bit. You know, the tuba is like a little bit far away from you. So I was kind of like curious if you're. Does it feel that's kind of what you're used to? Okay. Because I would. So let's do. So let's start where we ended up right here with on the B natural. This particular spot, once again, this is our kind of combination of our like rhythmic and kind of like, you know, kind of grotesque. We have this kind of bing bing bam 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 bam. That's just like another kind of quality of Prokofiev's music. First we have this lyric kind of concept, this lyric quality to it, and now we have this boom, bom, bom. It has to be, you know, this is a spot where we have like subdivision, like in our mind. You're actually playing this. I'm pretty sure you're playing this little line right here with the third trumpet, who's like he or she is like down there. So you have this distance away from you, and so you need to be like mind melded and like locked into what they're doing and listening, being very, very precise. That articulation, the sound for that trumpet is going to be going that way. The the sound for you is going up that direction. So for ensemble wise, you need to make sure that you're like locked into them. Audition committees are going to be listening for. Well, they listen to this on every excerpt, but with the Prokofiev, they're going to be listening to your musical expression, how you turn this phrase, how you interpret this, and how you try to communicate the musical message that's on here, on this sheet of paper. Then they're also going to look time, tone, tune. You know the big T's, and it's all kind of all these excerpts are kind of like involved in that way. So this is like a rhythmic part. So let's just start on this on the B natural. Sing to the D. Now with the basses. Big frog to tip. Now it's easy. And nice, and like this nice little kind of lyric taper as you go through the end of it. Okay, with some of the things that we've talked about, I want you to go do the whole thing from the top. We're going to do from the top again. So, I really enjoyed Stephanie Ikaza's class the other day in talking about mindfulness and practice, and the mindfulness part of practice, and it extends to performance also, in putting yourself in a place where you are ready to perform. I play probably at least 150 concerts a year, and so if you're in a situation where you're ready to start auditioning for orchestras, and that's what you want to do, and you want to do this, not only do you need to work on your practice, but it's part of your performance too. You're looking to be a performer, and I think it's great that you're up here playing putting yourself out and playing a mock audition like this and playing these excerpts in front of me. That's awesome. And so when you get ready to play a excerpt like this, if you're taking an audition, to get in the habit of, and this is in your practice when you're performing it also. I like to record myself when I was doing excerpts, and I let that be my external arbiter of what's going on. I'm trying to just, sit down, feet on the floor, butt in the chair, kind of rooted in like like a tree. I'm just going to like in there nice and find my breath. You know, that's the thing. You can always rely on your breathing. It's just there. It's just like this perfect. It's just the absolute perfect place for you to find you find yourself and be kind of in the moment here, getting ready to play an audition or an excerpt or a solo piece. And then use that recording as your teacher. You know, use that, go through an entire list. Go back, go have lunch, go have dinner, put it away for the night, come back to it in the morning over your coffee or your tea or your breakfast or something. Go back and then listen to yourself play that list, kind of non-judgmentally, just kind of curious. Hey, I wonder what that was like last night. I wonder how that went. And just kind of be observant, be curious, be observant, and just let yourself, when you go through the list, let you kind of be in the moment and be a creator and create. Have the expression and what you want to do. This is how this goes. Then you can go back and listen to it at another time. So, Quentin, I want you to just, for all of us here, just share how this goes for you. We've kind of talked about blowing some smooth air, the lyric quality, a little bit different types of things about Prokofiev. Smooth air. I just want you to just play this for how this goes for you. This goes smooth air. Yeah, nice. Thank you. Awesome. Thanks, Quintel. I'm gonna let you spring, and we'll bring the next person up. Welcome, Masaru. Have a seat. Tell us about yourself, Masaru. Where are you from?
I'm Jerry from the Japan part.
Where you?
The New England Conservatory.
You go to NEC, but you're originally from Japan. Okay. And who do you study with at NEC? You study with Mike at NEC? Awesome. All right, and I spy Meistersinger. Awesome. Gosh, and I do have my F2, now. Yeah, once again, we have... Well, I think, Masaru, you should just... Are you ready to play? Why don't you toot a little bit? And... or if well, you can keep... since we are at a tuba workshop, we can talk about playing F or playing C on Meistersinger Prelude. I usually play it all on F. The Prelude. I've never played the opera, but I've played Dutchman a few times. That really goes great on F. I just like the way it sounds on F. I know people play Meistersinger on C a lot. In auditions, it's probably personal preference. Looks like Masaru is going to play it on a C tuba here. I just kind of like the way it. When I play with the orchestra, I like the way it sounds with the orchestra better on F tuba. So, but that's just me. So, all right, Masaru, you want to play letter J? Let's hear it. Thank you. Thank you very much. So this is such a great part of the overture, and this part of the overture, as I understand and kind of hear what's going on, it's this huge synthesis of all of these themes. We've had this we've gone to this big climax in the trombones. And then it's just this most relaxed and warm lyric C major on C tuba. It's like, what could be better? And but it has to have, once again musically, it has to have a little bit of direction. How things are written on here. If your guide is just, if you just kind of look at this music and what it looks like on the page, to me your guide is just in what it looks like visually. And like this, and like this. For me, I can find kind of like little visual cues like that. So, I would like for you to play this again, the first part of it again, and be a little more conscientious of some direction of where you are taking the phrase. Like through here, and then especially you have this poco a poco più di forza, a little bit stronger, little by little, a little bit stronger. And I need to have that sense that it has some direction as it goes through that. I think a little bit. So why don't we just try that? So a little bit more kind of, a little more direction to your phrasing as you go through this place. We'll go to towards the ascending scale. That's one of the things. I feel like I can sing a little bit more out there. That's the place where you can really sing. I hear you. That's what I've been missing is a little bit Meistersinger, Master singers. A little bit more vocal kind of quality to it. Can you make the articulation? This will drive people crazy. Can you make it like happier articulation? Like conductors will say stuff like that. Can you make a happier articulation? I'm like, what on earth does that mean? And here I'm like, can you make this a little bit more? What's a happy articulation? But I'm going to ask you for it anyway. Can you make this happier? Do you think of this excerpt as happy? You do. It doesn't sound like it. To me, at least. Does it sound happy to you? Yeah. It sounds kind of, it sounds a little covered. Kind of like, Are you happy most today? Are you stressed? Does this make you, are you nervous? Or you're sleepy? Are you jet lagged? What were you doing last night? Did you have a mock audition this morning and you're sleepy? Why? You woke up early. Were you nervous? Kind of, yeah. Well, you sound good. I just want you to, it's Masaru, right? Masaru, I'm not hearing Masaru. I'm hearing I don't know what I'm hearing. But I want you to not be sleepy anymore. Okay? So, I need Happy Masaru to play Meistersinger right now. Okay? And I would like to have it, I think maybe, okay, let's talk about articulation on this. And I haven't warmed up, so excuse me. I'm just trying to take the listener and just say, okay, just come with me. All right, here we go. I'm just trying to, that's all I'm doing. Because audition committees, these, who you're playing for here, they know way more about Meistersinger than an audition committee that you'll play for as tuba. You'll have the principal oboe on there and they'll say, Meistersinger Prelude. And I guarantee you, the principal oboe is not thinking about the tuba in Meistersinger Prelude when they play it. I guarantee you. They're thinking about their reed is what they're thinking about. So, we have to so this is like our spot, aside from it being in C major, and if you have, gosh darn, better play it in tune, and I would say I would say on this one, I would say tune first, one A and 1B is in time, probably. Tone, can you get by with playing Meistersinger at that tone? I don't know. Maybe, but if you play it out of tune in C major, or you play like a 4/4 little thing like this, man, it's gonna bum them out. It's gonna bum them out. So what I was trying to get with articulation is maybe a little bit more lift, just so clarity, front, Boom, boom, boom. That's how I just kind of hear this as boom, some baritone. Boom, 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 boom. A quality, more vocal quality and less tuba quality. So how about that? Let's just try that one more time. Yeah. Will you buzz that for me on the mouthpiece? I'm sorry you're sleepy, and I'm now going to make you buzz on the mouthpiece, which is like. Can you breath attack it? Good, and now try it on the tuba. But with okay, and I want you, just like we were talking with Quentel, was just like making sure that you are blowing air right here. You know, you're blowing air to that 11, where it says 1144 sign out there. That's where I want you to blow. And dare I like invoke Mr. P again, like blow right here. Okay, let's do it one more time. By the way, I'm sorry to interrupt. Like these are, it's really any excerpt for like audition preparation that you should just have a metronome like attached to you, because you know here it's keeping a steady time through sequences and through the pitfalls of dotted quarter notes and eighth notes and coming off, and ties coming off of a half note tied to an eighth note. All of that to making sure that our time stays steady. It's exactly the same way in Prokofiev 5, because you have phrasing, you're on C tuba, you're using lots of air, you're taking lots of breaths, and whenever you're breathing a lot in excerpts, it always helps to make sure that you're being completely honest and completely true with your time. So this is a place where even though you're trying to be expressive, a master singer, and have this kind of glorious line that goes all the way through, at the heart of it needs to be this just internal motor of time that is impenetrable. It just is, it's just like this, it's like 1 foot, you know. So even though we're trying to be expressive in this sense, in this excerpt, the time needs to be pristine. Subdivision. So, yeah. Let's just do that one time. Nice, clearly articulated, and nice, pristine sense of pulse. Good. Yeah. So that was much better, much better clarity. What's the dynamic written here? What is it mezzo forte? Was that mezzo forte? No. What was it? Okay. All right. Why don't you try it at mezzo forte? Okay, right there. I need you to be really careful careful with those 3 eighth notes. Beam, bum, bim, 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 bum, 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 bim. Okay? So let's try it again. I want you to be careful, be aware of your subdivision in those eighth notes. They tended to be a little bit quick and rush a little bit. So why don't you try it again? Let's try to go through the whole thing again. When you get to the second part, this is just like we were talking about Prokofiev, frog to tip, like you're with the bass section. You know, this is, I know that they say this is tuba solo and all the rest of this is it's not a tuba solo. You're just playing with the bass section, you're just playing this nice, they are your biggest friends at this point. You can just like sit, you know, you have 8 basses over here, just sit back. I'm just going to let these guys and gals, I'm just going to let them carry me. And it's the easiest thing in the world. And you just like play into their sound, and you will sound like, it just will sound amazing. It's the easiest spot. So, so let's go through the whole thing. Time, tune, tone. Tune, time. Let's do tune, time, tone. Nice, smooth, lyric direction that we just kind of use the contour that's in the music to kind of help us guide us through this entire excerpt. All right, so let's try from the top. Excellent, excellent. So you need to, the next time, I do not want you to ever play this without a metronome again. Promise me? Masaharu, Jeff, promise? Okay. Because eventually then, when you're going to like do this excerpt time, this thing, then you're going to feel more comfortable. So I have this, when I listen to a lot of auditions, aside from audition days are done, but in listening to auditions now, not only in the orchestra, but also at the conservatory in San Francisco and that, it's easy. I hear instrumentalists, there are tuba players, instrumentalists play, and I have a sense when the instrument is kind of pushing the player around. And then there's people who come in and they play the instrument. They have their sense of the instrument, their control of their instrument, their craft of their instrument is very much. It doesn't mean that stuff doesn't go wrong. It doesn't mean or it doesn't sound exactly the way they want it, or they miss a note, or something doesn't quite go the way they want it. But they're able. The way that they can express themselves on their instrument is, you can tell when it's fully in their hands. This instrument right now is pushing you around on this excerpt, and so you need to take control of this instrument in the time and your articulation. You're kind of just don't quite have a sense of control with this instrument on this excerpt. you can totally get there, but there's like little things to, you know, especially in your time and in your articulation, to become more comfortable with it and to be able to express yourself musically, like what's in here, you know, to express that through the instrument, because like technically there's just like a few things that are like getting in your way right now. But through good practice habits and playing more and becoming more experienced, you can get there. That's just kind of part of the process. So, thank you. It's nice to meet you. Say hi to Mike. Hi, Adam. Oh my gosh, another F tuba excerpt. Ay, ay, ay. Zach, I told you to bring Fountains of Rome. This is Hungarian March from the Damnation of Faust. Another oldie but goodie. I always, when I kind of work with people in Berlioz, I preface what I say about it because in San Francisco, we decided, in San Francisco with our music director, Berlioz is decidedly a French composer. Even though he's a French composer, he's like decidedly a French composer. And so you may hear some orchestras play Berlioz kind of in a different style than we play it, but generally it has kind of kind of a brighter, more articulate, and a more kind of rambunctious kind of style. Which leads me to like the last four notes, the first four notes. Sorry, we would usually kind of play those a little bit shorter, a little more kind of punctuated, boom, boom, bing, bum, 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 bum. And with kind of maybe. All right, let's see how this goes. Immediate activity, because you have before. What's happening right before you come in? Yeah. You know, I think that Berlioz, the Hungarian March, I have a sense that this was not supposed to be kind of, okay, the Hungarians are marching. I got a feeling that he was thinking, the Hungarians are marching, so. The one thing about when you, so these little sequences in here, make sure that you're getting in, you're digging into that line, that you're digging in there and you have direction and you're going through. One thing that I really like that you did, which I don't think I hear a lot of people do it, is this little sequence at the end. Orchestra, I believe it goes bum ba ba bum ba ba bum ch bim ba ba bum ba ba bum ch bum ba ba ch bum ba ba ch bum bim bum bum. That now that's something the oboe player who's only worried about their reeds, like when we play Hungarian March, they might actually in their hearing when they play Hungarian March. I have no idea what the oboe part from Hungarian March, but you know what? They may actually remember that when they sing it to themselves, there's bum 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 ch ding, da da dun, da da dun, dun, ch, dun, da da ch. So that's a perfect place for you to like bring out and connect with somebody. It's like, oh right, they're used to hearing that particular point of the music, what the music sounds to them where they're sitting. So, and you were doing a good job at bringing that out. Now just kind of, I would like to have a little more precise. Isn't it interesting we spend so much time like on tuba talking about articulation? It's like so much time. You know, we were talking about articulation in a different type of articulation in Prokofiev, and then we were talking about articulation in Meistersinger, because it's like a different type of articulation. We have a completely different type of articulation here. It's not just, this is not like, you know, red articulation and green articulation. It's, or, you know, white articulation, you know, black articulation, or yellow versus blue, or whatever it is. This is this whole spectrum. I tell my guys at the conservatory to have, you know, have a toolbox, or you know, a toolbox and a palette. You know, artists, when they try to paint and express themselves in certain ways, they'll use the most delicate brush or edge or straight edge or something to just get the most kind of interesting sound or expression on a palette. And so an articulation that you're going to use in Berlioz is going to be a different articulation that you're going to use in, you know, Fountains of Rome. It's a different instrument. But even you know, bare solo, if you want that heavy kind of like way different articulation than like if I'm playing on, you know, Meistersinger, or it's even a different if I have a little bit different articulation than what I'm doing on the Berlioz. So can you give me a little bit more kind of lift in your articulation? I do believe, all right, I need a raise of hands. Okay, we're going to do, this goes to the freak jury here. Raise your hand if that was an appropriate tempo. You like that tempo for Hungarian March? Okay, so you have a few. Raise your hands if you thought it was too fast. Nobody thought. Raise your hands if it's too slow. Oh, it's enough. Okay. You know what? They have spoken. That was a good tempo. I thought it was a little slow. Maybe just a little bit slow. It could be because I'm used to conductors getting a little bit more excited about them. So, I don't know. Is that the tempo? Yeah. I don't know. Try it about like that. Yeah, and so a little bit more active, a little more active articulation, a little more active. You know, this is like dudes on horses. You know, dudes on horses, like they are marked. I don't know where they're going, but they're going there. So maybe just a little bit more kind of precise articulation. So I would say more air. You know, oddly enough, I mean, a lot of times for me, more articulation, the beginning of more articulation, or something that's better articulated, or more firmly articulated, or shorter, or anything, is, you know, double tongue, more air. I need to get the air blown out with my lips further out here. Okay, and not just, not starting with the tongue, always starting with air. So just for our purposes, shorter, let's just say shorter quarter notes to start. More marchy. Is that a word? Okay, good. Okay, good. See, those feel long to me. Even though you're sitting down, stand up straighter. Not literally, I was more figuratively, sorry. No, just kind of like in the sense of just, I kind of think it as rather kind of bum, 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 bing, bing, bum, bum, bing, bum, 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 beep, 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 bum, bum, beep, beep, bum, 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 beep, 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 bum, beep, 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 bum, bum, bum. So just it was shorter, more articulate F major triad. Good. So at the end, sometimes you get an excerpt like this, and you got through all the kind of the tough stuff, and you've navigated through it all, and you get to the bum, 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 bing, bum, 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 and you have A, E, A, E, A, E, E, A, E, A, E, whatever starts with, what is that on A? Just, if you're in an audition, these are places. I'm trying to think of like another excerpt that you can go through, and you can think, oh my gosh, this is just like this is the greatest thing. I made it through the really, hard spot or whatever it is like this, and you can not be conscientious or aware or mindful of little thing at the end of an excerpt, and people will listen to that. People will listen to you play A-E, because it's like it was that perfect A-E, to hear if it's in tune, because they want to know if a tuba player is not going to play A to E in tune, it's like, what good are they? If they're not tonic dominant in tune, right? So to me, your A-E wasn't like the most happy. Can you play A? Do you know? Oh, so you know that it's not?
I know the A is pretty funky.
Ah, the dreaded funky A. Well, so then what can you do? So what do you do?
I pulled a first slide.
Did you do it that time? Okay. Maybe not enough, yeah. So you need to be, so that's something you need to be aware of. Start at the, because you get to the end of this excerpt, you've gone through all the stuff that we practice over and over and over again, and then you have an A major triad in, what is it, second inversion, E, A, C sharp, and then you have octave E's, and then A, E, A. So you go through all this sort of stuff, and it's like you're pounding through this. Oh my God, you're like, this has to be in tune. This has to be in tune. Oh my gosh, I got through all the stuff. I'm just going to play this thing, and it's like all of a sudden it's like an intonation study, and you're on F tuba, and you're playing like the C sharp, like this, and you need to be very conscientious about that you don't just let these little details lag. Okay, so I want you to be more aware of that. I want you to be more aware of your pitch on that little tag there, and start there on the E. Okay. Does third valve work on that tuba for the A? Try it. What says the jury? Raise your hand for third valve. Raise your hand for 1 and 2. I didn't say anything. Anyway. Oh my God. Oh, I can't believe you just said that. All right, well, see, that's something so you know, once again, we'll go back to how we very start. We can like make like back a circle to like recording yourself, becoming your own teacher, and not getting used. Because if you go into the practice room and you've been like working on this and you've been running the list and you record this at 10 o'clock at night in the music building before you go back home, and then the next morning you listen to it and you wake up and you're having your coffee, I think you're much more likely to listen to that and say, gosh dang it, my A's are still sharp. I got to do something about this. I'm not being conscientious. I'm not being mindful. I'm not being aware of this. So be a little more curious about it. Be a little more curious about it, and not let yourself just get into patterns. But you play this really well. You play it really well. So make sure you stay with the metronome, with a lot of metronome work. So thank you. Thank you guys. I want to thank Zach and all the guys from the Army Band for inviting me to come here. I'm looking forward to playing with them tonight, and hopefully we'll see you guys tonight. So thank you.